tie that back to film, it gives you a better understanding of why people are striking and why everyone is so terrified. This is why we're trying to get the contracts changed now, because we don't know where AI is going to be in 10 years. Yeah. But if we can get a regulation on it now and have it in our contracts that AI cannot influence what we people do on our film sets, they can, sure, maybe give us ideas, use it as a tool, but not take over for us, to try to solidify that we're still going to have a film industry in 10 years. Right? Because that's what people see. They see where we're progressing. And I think everyone's focused on here. We got to look here, because here is not that far away.
Yeah, and also I think, as I was saying before, that maybe more people haven't like engaged to that because is the entertainment. I've been talking with a bunch of actors, as I was saying, and it's incredible the whole misconception that is going on. The fact that be like, oh, why actors are doing this? I mean, they get paid millions, and now they're doing things like that, when they don't realize that that almost like that A-list actors is like 1%, is like a tiny percent of the whole other actors who are doing their jobs, who are like having multiple side jobs to sustain their their livelihood,
craft and fashion,
and things like that. And it makes sense because as I was saying before, at some point some other industries is going to be taking over by an AI, and another one and another one, and then at some point it might be even too late for everyone to be like, you know what, screw it, we don't want that anymore, because then they would say, we don't care, an AI can do your job. So maybe the only solution with that would be when people doesn't have, as we were saying, money to spend, money to actually buy their products, and things like that. Maybe that would be like the solution to counter everything. But who can tell that maybe at some point that is also too late for companies to be like, our AI went rogue, we can't control it anymore, or maybe we can shut it down, but because it's on the net, who can tell that the AI went to the cloud, let's say, and stay there?
Yeah. And I feel like we're in this epidemic of getting rid of the middle class.
Yeah.
Right? With cost of living going up, with, AI replacing all the lower to mid level actors and writers, and like people that aren't making that top dollar, right? Like that's what's going to happen when that middle class is gone.
Which is, I mean, we're talking about millions and millions and millions of people who are in the middle class. I mean, I'm included too in that class.
Oh,
so
me too.
There you go.
Actually, not in Vancouver. Vancouver, I'm definitely lower class, but like everywhere else, middle class. Like, and that's
No, yeah. But that's that's scary, because what is gonna happen then? I mean, people are gonna, the other day I was checking that, like, if you want to buy a van right now, it's crazy. It's more expensive now than 10 years ago. Why? I was checking because most people are using it to live there. They're like adapting it so they can live there, and you can see now a lot of people right now that they're living in their car, basically, and because they can't sustain to pay a rent because rents are going crazy. But the problem about that is the landlords, they are putting this crazy prices, and what is happening is that there is room for everyone. There's actual room for everyone, but because it is crazy expensive, now we have more empty apartments that people on the streets, let's say. But that is because of this whole situation that is happening.
And it's not entirely the landlord's fault, right? Like,
absolutely, it's the whole, yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, like I know somebody who bought a house, and they bought it, I want to say 5 years ago, and our fixed mortgages in Canada are a little bit broken because they're fixed for like 5 years, and then you have to get it like reassessed. So they all, like, a lot of people bought when mortgage and interest rates were like 1%. So they were buying these $1 million houses with, like, I only pay 1% interest, right? Because that's the going rate for a house here in Vancouver. It's like a minimum $1 million.
Totally.
And so when they just got reassessed, it was now an extra $3,000 on their mortgage, just on, right? So if you're competing with that, like, rent does have to go up, but it's getting to the point now where people can't pay that rent price, right? Like, you are essentially paying a mortgage, or at least half a mortgage, and what a mortgage would have been 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's all getting really out of hand. So I've thought about it too, just buying like a tour bus and living out of that. Like, It's an investment. It would be mine. It would be my space. But now where do you park it?
Yeah. Yeah, I got, and you know what? I got that idea too. I was like, if I go, I've been planning to go to Canada. I'm like, if I go to live in Canada, wouldn't it be easier if I bought a van and I just travel, from Mexico to Canada by van, but it would be my home, so it would be like a lot more cheap for me because it is true. I mean, it like the whole rents and everything. I was checking it. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy expensive and even expensive, like even expensive, like way more expensive in other cities. For example, in LA, that there's a lot of people out there who are living in tents, but they have a MacBook. Or they have like an Xbox or their newest phone, but they live on tents because they can sustain to pay our normal rent, which is crazy. And I do think that the problem here is when you threat, I mean, maybe not threat, but when you remove, or I wouldn't say remove either. Like what is it? What would be the word here? My point
Minimum.
here is maybe, but what I'm trying to say here is that if you are trying to remove the survival instinct for a person, for them to find a place to call home, I do think that the problem will start when people start to get aggressive. And we can see it now, that people are actually becoming like more aggressive. And even these days, people are angrier. And you can totally see why, because, like with jobs and everything, that you will go to a 9 to 5, but you will not be able to sustain a small rent, let's say. And that will and of course that will make you angry, and that will make you desperate to do whatever you can so you can sustain a decent a decent home, a decent life, you know. So I do think that is the problem that we're also heading in the next couple of years, because with the whole AI stuff that is replacing people eventually are gonna get crazy and are gonna get angry, and that's gonna be ended up causing more riots. I mean, and that is when, what if an AI will take the decision to be like, take take them out, think like that. So if
Well, it
we
also
think
makes me wonder too, like what's going to happen to our education system?
that's also true, because now with the AI stuff, you don't need to learn anything right now. You
Why
don't
am
need
I
to.
paying? Like, I guess not
No.
me. I love my grandparents. They're amazing. They're paying for it. But like, why are they paying $45,000 for my master's when that's going to mean nothing?
Yeah, you're gonna be on the streets basically, because you're not gonna have enough money to sustain a decent home or even like a decent room. I was checking rents, just wandering around on Google, and the rents in New York, LA, they're like crazy, but they're it's nonsense of what they're asking for the small place you're getting it, and people who are able to afford the house and everything, that's like a very minimum percentage of the other people who is wondering on the situation to be like, what, like what is like what if I'm what it's what do I have to do now? And even like for newer generations, what's the point? Like what are they gonna be their passions about? Because acting, I mean, what if acting gets replaced by an AI and things like that? What if the whole engineers and police, firemen, like all of those type of jobs, what if they get replaced by an AI? What will be the next point? What would like what would what would you want, like you know what I mean, like what would be your passions about, you know
And even thinking about that too, wouldn't it be way cheaper to get the Tom Cruise AI as opposed to paying Tom Cruise is like,
totally,
his minimum,
totally.
right? Like there's that too, right? Like it's not just us it's going to affect.
Yes, it's gonna affect everyone at some point. At some point, it's gonna, even the A-list actors are gonna be affected at some point, because as you mentioned, why I would be paying millions to bring Tom Cruise to my film, so when I can put an AI of Tom Cruise do the exact same stuff, I can do everything on a computer and don't have to search for locations. I don't have to pay anyone. I can just do it with a kick-ass computer. I can create a film on Tom Cruise. And I was also seeing that for example on the video game industry, that they are also trying like to use AI, you know, and that, I mean, that again, that will be letting it to a point that, what about the developers? They're not gonna be having a job anymore. So it's crazy when you think about like more like as we have been thought about this whole conversation. I mean, it's getting to a very dark place. That, I mean, not only we talked about like the whole AI that is gonna take control at some point, but humans are gonna get crazy. And we have seen it multiple times that if you don't have like a purpose to live, like a purpose or anything, then your mind just just goes away and you start to do nothing, and you will get these crazy ideas, and eventually people get crazy because they're bored. We are sociable beings who need to do something so our brain can maintain and entertain. And if we remove that, I think that's going to be the problem where people are going to start to turn into violence instead of arguments. You know what I mean? So
Well, that's what happens, right? Like if you take away, it's actually the Hunger Games kind of encapsulates that
yeah,
perfectly, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
As terrible as that sounds, you give people hope, you give them food, you give them water, you give them shelter, and they're happy. But when you start to take those things away, people start to revolt because if they don't have their basic needs, what are they doing?
Yeah,
Why are they following, what's expected of them,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, did you saw this show on Disney Plus yeah, months ago called Ender?
No, I
It's from the
didn't.
Star Wars universe. Anyway,
I've seen bits of it.
yeah.
My old acting
Anyway,
coach loved it, but
there's a well, I will have to ask you. Can I spoil it a little bit? Sure. Okay. Good. 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 So there's this scene, right, in which our protagonist will go to this kind of work camp, right? So he goes to jail and he goes to this work camp, but they tell them, you just need to complete your sentence, work here, and when you're done, you're free, right? So then you will, so that's pretty easy going, right? So you will work there, everything. They will get you all the proper needs for you, so you can continue working. But guess what? When you finish your sentence, they don't let you free. They kill you.
I
And
didn't
they
know about this.
and they tell everyone, oh, this guy got free. This guy is living the life now. But no, they kill him.
Because there's a
And
whole scene where they're like, it's between the main character and another guy when they're talking when they just find out, right? And they're all on the
mhm,
ship and they're like, do we revolt or do we comply? Right?
that's
Is
the
that
thing.
scene?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
And and like what got me thinking now is, like, what if at some point that happens too? Meaning that, what if they just start to selling us these ideas to continue working, to continue, to continue do something, but at the end it will lead you to nothing. And that is like the most dangerous part, because as I was saying before, when you take a human, their humanity, I mean, we will not be different from any animal. And if we start behaving like animals, then it's yeah, it's gonna be a mess. Maybe some people who are listening to this, or seeing this, will be like, come on, this, you guys are going too far. But
Are
it's
we?
not. Are we? Just think about it. Like back then, you remember, like the first iPhone when it got Siri, right? And I have never used Siri. I do have an iPhone, but I have never used Siri because I don't see the point to it. But anyway, but at that point, it was super very basic, right? Right now, yes, it's like a little bit more. It's like it has improved like a little bit, but also with the AI stuff, as I was saying before, the fact that an AI can get you a response on anything you ask it in less than a second. And what if at some point, all that we have saying becomes true, because it is happening. That is the most ridiculous thing, that it is happening right now. Actors right now might be the ones who are starting this out, but at some point it's gonna be other fields who are also joining in, because it is getting out of hand,
It's
and
progression,
it is
right?
it is it is growing. It is growing a lot,
Like
and we can see.
if I had to guess what part of the Terminator movie we were in right now, we're just past the opening scene.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's true.
And I think that's where a lot of people are looking. They're not looking
The whole
at
picture of it.
the whole film, when Schwarzenegger comes back. Like they're not looking at that part
you
of the
know
movie yet, right? And
or
I'm not saying that's where we're gonna end up, but I'm saying we have the choice now to not be there,
Yeah, right now we do have that choice.
right? Like let's not wait, for all the time
Yeah.
travel
Did
to
you
happen
saw
for us to
did
fix
you
it.
saw this film from Will Smith, I, Robot?
I don't think I have.
It's when basically they have AIs who are specifically designed to help on to help humans, help on the house. For example, let's say you're old, you will buy this AI who will do all the heavy stuff for you, so then you will have to, you relax in your home, and basically like like a servant, might be the word. But on the film, Will Smith hates them, because he gets this idea that what if at some point they become rogue and they go aggressive against us, and they're gonna totally they I mean it's gonna be a walk in the park for them, because we can't compare like with we can't compare. So I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, that film is like 10 years old now, but it happens. Machines go crazy, and that is what the rest of the film goes. So, I mean, if they become sentient, what if that, as we were saying, what if at some point that AI is like, wait a minute, humans are horrible, And if you look down our history, I mean, we have killed millions of our own species. We have killed millions of animals too. We have extinct thousands upon thousands of ecosystems, species. I mean, if what to give that an AI be like, what? Yeah, humans are the cancer of this world. I'm gonna terminate them, so then life can flourish again. I mean, that could happen.
And the
And
beautiful thing about being sentient is choice.
yeah,
And we can take away that choice, but they're still going to have the choice to comply with that or go against it. Right? Which kind of goes
yeah,
back to your point. What happens if they do decide that we suck?
yeah. Damn. Oh my God. I mean, we can be talking about hours and hours and
I
hours about this
know.
topic, because it is crazy. And the more deep we go, I mean, we will definitely be finding like even more and more topics, because yeah, I mean, this is I would say like the breaking point into this whole either our doom or something different. And right now, I do think that we are in the position in which we can stop and be like, you know what? We're gonna stop right now with the whole technologies, and let's stop for a bit right now. Let's just sit back and think about what is gonna be our next move, instead of getting all crazy with technology. Like, and because like for the past what, like 10, 12 years, we have seen in a huge advancement in technology, which is great. It's really cool. But especially specifically in this topic, I would say that it would be better if we just stop for a while. And I think there's some companies who are saying that. I think Elon Musk have said that it should be better if they just stop for a while, so we can think
Oh, yeah. I
about
mean,
what we have next month.
that's because if you look at the timeline of the human race, everything we've accomplished, and it might have changed now, but back when I was in school, if this was like technology starting by tying like a rock to a piece of, like to a stick and calling it a hammer to AI, all of this has evolved within a year, if that makes sense to
Yeah, I
break it
know it
down.
does. It
Like
does.
that's
Yeah.
how fast we've moved,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like our electronic boom or whatever you want to call it happened within a year. We have not evolved to that point. We don't understand what we're dealing with. It's almost like watching a new virus come out and not understanding what it can do to you. Like,
And not able to do anything about it.
right? Like that's kind of where we're at right now. And you know what, for the people that are listening that are like, this is too dystopian, it's not going to be like that. Sure, you know what, that's fine, it probably won't. But at the same time, just think about that for a minute,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I
Like
mean, yeah, 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 yeah,
the
totally.
possibilities with AI are literally endless. And unfortunately, that is it endless.
Yeah,
That's an endless possibility that could happen.
yeah.
So where does it stop? Where does it end? What regulations do we need? Do we give them rights? Do they have the right to vote? Do we just give them power to rule because they're going to end up there anyway and maybe they'll treat us nicer? I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. But I kind of agree with you. I think we do need to slow down and take a break and actually study what we're creating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What if an AI becomes president?
Yeah,
Knows
it's
more.
studying us. Why
Yeah,
are
it's
we not
studying us. Knows
studying
more
them?
about us. Knows more about politics and all of that. What if at some point an AI becomes president?
Yeah. And like that's the other thing too. Is it going to be ethical? Is it going to be logical? Is it going to be moral? And what ethics and moral are they playing off of? Like it's going to evolve. It's going to form its own opinions.
Yeah,
What opinions is it going to have?
yeah, yeah. And I got super quick. It got me wonder. Do you think that? I mean, that being said, that if they become sentient, they develop morals, feelings, ideals, things like that. Would you say that then they will have a soul?
That's the question, right? And that kind of goes into the whole thing. Like, how do we know that we're not just programmed things that are uploaded into something. Like there is a theory. I remember watching it once on like some sort of
Yeah.
talking about reincarnation, and they were saying that the way our brains work, it's very similar to how like a TV receives a signal in a
Mm-hmm.
channel, and
Mm-hmm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
turn off the channel, like the signal goes away, but it can always come back,
Yeah.
right? So they were talking that people's souls are kind of like that, right? That we're just receiving. So do we even have souls? If that's the like it's a whole ethical thing. Like if you believe in a soul, if you believe in a conscious, if you believe in all that. And from my understanding, from what I know in my being, if a soul does exist, I feel emotions, I can perceive the world, I can make logical choices, I have a conscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this AI has the same thing,
Then that yeah has a
I'm gonna
soul.
say they do. Right? It doesn't really matter how it got there, but if it's the same thing, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
You can make the same cake baked by two different people, it's still gonna be a cake.
totally. And what if at some point that AI becomes religious?
What's their religion? I want to know because I feel like they would be right because they have all the information in the world, and like that's the other thing. Like I'm curious. I'm so curious about AI and what it thinks and how it works, and just having something that's smarter than me. Like I already know this thing is smarter than me,
Oh yeah,
but it's
yeah,
not sentient,
yeah. Mine
right?
too.
So
Yeah,
what what happens when you have something that's sentient with opinions that is smarter than everybody here? Like it's just there's so many different ways that this can go, and there's so many different topics of conversation we can have about this.
yeah,
And you know what, maybe they'll decide that, you know, we just need help and we need guidance and to put us in the right direction, and they're the ones that will work with us and move us towards some sort of utopian society where everyone lives in harmony because, you know, they have ethics and morals and they don't want to shed like blood to get us to a certain point, right? Like
hmm.
we don't know how they're developing, and I would love for that way to go. But that's the other thing too. If you're putting people morals in them, are they going to do it better?
What if at some point it has their own goals, and their own ideals and their own, what is the word here? Their own, um,
Ambitions, dreams.
ambitions. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
like
I mean,
it's true. And
yeah,
you know what? Like I'd encourage it. Have your own ambitions, have your dreams. We encourage every other like conscious being to have them. But
but
what are your like what are they, right?
my God.
Like if going back to your regulation question, if we have it, it needs to be regulated to the point of societal growth where we work together. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
honestly do think like this sounds really weird saying, but they would have to be an equal. Like they can't not be.
but that's if you make them equal, then
We're right
we're
back to where we started.
exactly we're
But
going to
that's what
scratch
I
one.
mean. But like if we take advantage, or like someone's gonna suffer, right? Either the middle class are gonna suffer because they're not gonna have work and we're not gonna have an economy, and the rich are not gonna keep getting richer because people aren't spending money because we don't have any. Or you have a being that's smarter than us, knows, and if it can feel emotions, knows and feels where it's at is wrong, it's being mistreated,
Mm.
and can have this better life and knows how to get there. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
we're going to suffer either way, whichever way we tip the scale. But if we keep it in the middle and we work with AI as opposed to against it or have
Yeah,
it work for us, I think that's the, like, you were asking about pros and cons. I think that's the best outcome. I
yeah, that's
really,
true.
really, really do.
I really hope that too, because like what if the rich class is like, you know what, we don't need humans anymore. An AI can do whatever, an AI can create everything we want, and then we get replaced, and then we will be basically loose in the wild, and then we'll become the next, basically be like really an another animal species right now,
Have you played Horizon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to think they're not that far off.
No, no, it's not. Now that I think of it, no, it's not. And actually the whole Horizon game was due to, yeah,
But getting back to, kind of like our time and what's going on right now,
yeah,
like the direct effect that it's having on people, and it's not even, fully sentient on its own, doing its own thing, it's
yeah,
still having a very detrimental effect on people. And I think that's what the focus should be on, is if this is for the people by the people,
Or it's against the people. Yeah.
let's make it work with the people for the people, so we're not losing work or losing money or worried that I'm going to school for this thing and in 10 years when I go into the workforce I'm not even going to have a job. And it's very scary for a lot of families and a lot of people that are future planning. Like my boyfriend works in film. He hasn't worked in 6 months because there's nothing, and
That's
he's now wondering. He's like, I've changed my career 2 times already. And we had this discussion yesterday. And
yeah.
I was like, well, you could always go back to IT. And he's like, nope, AI's taken that over too. And I was like, well, what if there's something new that you want to do? And he looked at me and he was like, just try and find one profession, one, where you don't think AI is going to dip its toes in and take that away too. So now when you're telling your little kid there, what do you want to be when you grow up? What options do they have?
Yeah, there's no, yeah, there's
Like,
nothing. Yeah, there's nothing. Nothing, like literally nothing. No, writing, and AI can do it better. Acting, and AI can do it better. Manual work, and AI can do it better. Plus, it's something, if an accident happens, no problem. They can replace it. Problem solved, you know?
yeah, they can order a new arm. We can't.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't. I mean, yeah, nothing.
And then here's another question I
Damn.
have for you. Just to kind of flip the table a little bit.
Yeah.
Because now they're talking with this whole like AI and, understanding how people work and sentient beings and stuff online. Super dystopia, uploading people onto computers. Do you think
Yeah.
that's out of the question with
No.
everything that's happened with AI?
Yeah, no. No. No, absolutely not. What if, yeah, no. At some point, now we're heading into the whole cyberpunk stuff. That
Oh
what
yeah,
if that what if they download they basically download your whole brain, your whole information, and put it into an AI, and now you became a new AI.
but would it be you or would the AI be AI?
It would be you, because it's your not it's your whole self pasted, copy paste into.
Yeah, but when you copy paste, you still have the original link. It didn't go anywhere.
But what if that person, what if you are on your, what, let's say you are about, you're check this out, you're 80, you're 90, whatever, right? You're on your path up in the brink of dying, and they tell you, you know what, we got the solution for you. We can download your whole information. We could download you into this new AI, and it's gonna be you. Would you say no?
They've kind of already started to do that. But that's the thing. They don't know if it's actually you. But it's like taking your likeliness and putting it onto like online, so then relatives that, miss you can go and like talk to this thing and it will reply kind of like how you would reply,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Like we're already
Mm-hmm.
kind of going there. But my purpose of bringing, I was just curious because that was a part of that conversation that I was having yesterday
No,
about
yeah, yeah,
jobs,
yeah.
AI, and like where things will go with technology. And that's another like point I want to kind of bring up too, is that it's not just AI, right? Like
Yeah, it's not you.
right, just the rate that technology is coming in, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just, I can't get over how fast we have moved and how advanced we are, but yet still how many people are still suffering from it. Like it feels like everything is
Yeah.
just not aligning. And I would love to see that alignment in my lifetime.
No, yeah, absolutely. Because as we've been saying, what goes up goes down, and what scares me is the down part, because I do think that right now we are on the edge. There is no more else to do. Either we take a decision to start develop something new, because basically this cup is filled right now. If you put it more, it will drop everything. So now, yeah, yeah, but yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. Because
I know.
it's
I feel
crazy,
like
and
I have earned
it's,
my tinfoil hat now.
yeah,
But yeah,
damn,
it really it's really mind-boggling when you think about it. The potential of technology and AI and what's going to happen with people, what's in our future, what's in our careers, what's going to happen in our family life, what's going to happen with our health, what's going to happen to our economy, what's going to happen to our government. Like it's endless. There's no
mm,
definite answer now because we're dealing with something we don't know. And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
amazing. It's what's the word I'm looking for? When things progress.
Evolving.
Evolving, yes, but like in business.
Um,
Innovating. It's
Innovating. Yeah.
innovating. It's innovating, it's progressing, but it's also terrifying.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Yeah. And just to be clear, we're not trying to cause panic on people.
No, 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 no.
No, this is, I mean, this is not to cause panic. This is just to make sure that just sit for a while and think about all of this. That's it. Because
And
we're,
go
yeah.
ahead. I was gonna say, like, and this is what people are thinking about and why we're striking now. Obviously not to the point of dystopia, but I'm sure an AI can write a real good Riverdale episode. That show's canceled now, but
Mm-hmm.
or it's ended. I'm sure it could write a really great Riverdale episode. However, let people do the people thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or can rewrite the perfect ending for Game of Thrones, you know?
Weird. That's a whole other podcast episode, Dan.
Right? Yeah, it's true. At the end, let humans do the human thing, and the world's gonna continue function and problem solve, you know?
Mm-hmm. And
Otherwise, yeah, no, I don't want to live in the whole Horizon universe or Terminator stuff universe. I mean, no, to go toe to toe with a robo dinosaur. Yeah, no, I don't think about that.
I guess my question for like not even just you, just even for everyone listening, like what benefits do you think that AI would have, right? Like why did we create it? Why is it here?
To make our lives easier somehow, right? I mean, that would,
But that's not where we're at. So why is it here?
huh? Well,
We've talked
damn.
about a lot of scenarios right now, and all of them ended up in dystopia, which just because we watched a lot of Hollywood movies, but why is it here? How did it come about?
Yeah, we never needed, to be honest.
We didn't need it.
Yeah, things were good before the AI stuff. Things were functioning properly. If you had to search for something, you were searching between other books, or online here and there, and you will get your own results, and that would be it. So your life was already easy because you had all the information in the palm of your hand, you know. Damn, yeah, no, 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 yeah, yeah, it's true. Like, why even is it here? We didn't ask for it. Nobody asked for it. God damn, Nikki.
I know. It's a weird question because it seems like it should have a very straightforward answer.
Yeah, but I mean, when I told you to make our lives easier, then is it, or is it makes our lives easier, or is it makes us be like more useless?
That's the question, right? And that's kind of the thing with AI. Like, where does the purpose go? Like, if
Yeah.
you can have AI take over for you tomorrow, and in a positive light, right? Like, we have universal income. You don't have to go to work tomorrow. And sure, for the first week, I'm sure you'll take a lesson, you'll learn a new instrument, you'll paint a picture, you'll do all the things.
Mm.
But then what's after that?
That's the thing. What's after? Like, what's the goal, right? If I take painting classes, or if I start to do something new, a new thing. Yeah, but what's the goal? If I don't have to do nothing to achieve into a better life, let's say, because I already have it due to an AI. So, you know what? I do think that if that happens, still it's gonna cause mess, because then people are not gonna have to achieve for anything anymore. And I think that is what makes us wake up every day and be like, I'm gonna continue working hard, because you know what, I got this passion, I want to achieve this. But if something else, be like, you know what, you don't have to worry about that. I already achieved it for you. You retire right now, go enjoy life, go do whatever you want.
Well, that's
That's
the beautiful thing about people. is
That's
we
the
always try
thing.
to be better. And I
That's the
don't mean
thing.
like be better isn't like be better, but like we always strive to improve,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's a skill at work, a hobby, or something, right? Like we have a drive, and that's how evolution works. Is we just keep adapting.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and that was something I don't have an answer to it. I don't.
No, me neither. I mean, as I've been thinking about, if I think it like plain and simple, no, the answer would be nothing. I wouldn't have any passions, any. I mean, I wouldn't do anything. I would, because there is no goal. There is no ultimate goal. There is no there is nothing on it. I mean, it's empty and it's boring if you think about it, because everything you have fought for, and all of your wins here and there, so you can continue building your road. But then someone comes along, puts a perfectly road, and be like, just enjoy the ride and don't do nothing. I mean, perhaps some people might say, oh, that's perfect, and okay, that's fine, but at least to me, and to you as well, it would be boring, because what's next? What's the next chapter for Dan? What's the next chapter for Nikki? If we both have achieved what we wanted in life, and we don't have to worry about the basic the basic stuff, what's next?
And like I don't want to say that we should be working more. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I
no.
truly believe that we are way too many hours as it is.
Yeah.
But I think everything is on a pendulum, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I do think we still need to work and contribute to society and, like try to help other people, but I don't think we should be doing that for 40 hours out of our week or, a quarter out of
Oh
our day.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, but that's like another. That is like
A whole
another
other thing.
other
But
thing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, our goal, our point here is, if you, like, as I was saying before, that like usually when you wake up, you have this energy to be like, I want to keep working and I want to keep following or do whatever I want, because I have I have a goal, that I want
there's
to
a sense of
achieve.
accomplishment.
Exactly. But if you remove that from us, then there's nothing. There's emptiness and there's boring, and that eventually is gonna cause to chaos. Because what I have discovered in our history is that we humans, we tend to cause chaos when we don't have nothing to do. Same thing with a child, for example. When a child has nothing to do, what is gonna happen? It's gonna either tear up the carpet, or perhaps, you
Drum
know,
balls.
but yeah, exactly, or you do some, just do destroy the couch, or put um pencils on the couch to make it like a fort, but you're gonna ruin the whole leather of like all of that. I mean, it's chaos, and if you think about, if you do that for an adult, the chaos that an adult might cause, it's gonna be a lot worse than a child. So yeah, that's true. That is also
What's
one
the
thing.
balance?
There is no balance. That's a problem. I mean, right now, as we were saying, right now we're just we're just having our toes on the water, and that's it. We haven't fully dived yet, but we are on the process on doing it. If this not gets into a point in which we're getting too far, I mean, this is getting out of hand, and people, as we were saying throughout this whole conversation, if you take the livelihood for a person, their accomplishment, if you take that away from them, I mean, I don't. I mean, we just have to Google examples when like all the type of human atrocities, because people get crazy, and that is I don't know. I don't know if that's the goal. Perhaps, perhaps for this AI stuff, perhaps that is the goal, or not. Who knows? As I was saying, I mean, I don't know anything about AIs, and I'm no like a designer or like things like that. Not at all. But yeah, it has to be regulated, because this is getting into a point in which, what's the next thing happening, So
And I think that was the most important question that you asked at this, like throughout this whole conversation, is what regulations should we have? Because even though we talked about it in the 7,000 different scenarios, at the
yeah.
end of the day, it's here. It's here
And
and it's with us and it's growing and it's learning and, we're growing and learning with it, but not as fast as, they're doing their thing. So
yeah,
what, what's the happy medium? What's ethical? What is
what is not ethical? What
exactly
is
like,
legal? What is legal? What is Yeah,
what are the rules?
yeah.
Great power comes great responsibility. So like
No, but it's true.
exactly. So what are the rules? And I think that's everybody's first question, and I think that's the first thing that needs to get solved before we continue with AI.
Yeah. Damn.
I know. You weren't
Yeah.
expecting this when you were like, "Hey, Nikki, do you want to talk about AI?"
I wasn't. I mean, to be honest, I did have a chat, talking about AIs with a friend of mine because I do have because I recently created another podcast which is with a friend of mine and I just but talking about random topics here and there, nothing regarding chat with that and anything, but that chat wasn't deep as this one, and that's what get my attention because I was like, we didn't mention that on when we were talking that day because I don't know why, but now with you, it got me even thinking like even more deep to be like what the hell is gonna happen, and it's scary. Yeah, it's it's exciting, but at the same time it's scary.
And you want to hear something wild? That question I asked you, if you think that AI should have rights because it's a sentient being. Do you know when someone asked me that question?
Don't tell me that it was that it was the Snapchat AI.
No, it was not Snapchat AI.
Oh,
But
okay.
that was a question that was brought up to me back when I was in high school or junior high learning about ethics. And it was a
Okay,
scenario
yeah.
that was posed to us was if for whatever reason we end up getting like the whole Terminator thing, right? Because they were trying to teach people like ethics, right? Like if you
Mhm.
have emotions, if if you're a member of society, yada yada yada. If we have this clone thing, oh, it was religion. That's where this came from because they were cloning. This is back
Mhm.
when they cloned the sheep. I don't know if
Mhm.
you remember that. So
Yeah,
they were
yeah, yeah.
asking, we got to the point of cloning, right? Do they get rights? We've made them, right? They were made by God or whatever you want to call it, but we made them, right? And it's kind of the same with AI. We made AI. So now you have two living beings, like, are they entitled to rights? So this has been a topic of conversation since I was like 13, which was a lot longer than I'm going to admit in numbers ago.
Mm.
Do we still have an answer for that question?
We don't have an answer right now to that question. And that got me even another question, which is if we are creating a sentient being, I mean, and I don't wanna touch any type of religion, but then aren't we gonna become God because we're creating a soul?
And that was the topic that we were having back in that old
Fuck.
junior high class, right? It was
Yeah.
like, what happens when you start to play God? Like, what happens in that sense?
Are we
And
able to play as, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so like, yeah, don't mean to get super tinfoil hatty here, but like, it's a question that I have thought about quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
And even with AI too, like it's something that I have because I didn't have an answer then, still don't have an answer now,
Sure,
all these
no.
many years later, right? Like and I don't think many people do have that answer. So I'd be curious to like hear other people's opinions. Like if you are listening to this, like what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments for sure. I want to know. I want to know those comments. Yeah.
I'm very curious. Like, do you think that things that we create that are sentient, like should they have rights? Should we be treating them like people? Like, what are the ethics there? Like, what are the ethics that come with having this being?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, if you give them rights, then you can marry an AI at some point.
I'm sure there's not a whole lot of people that would actually object to that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was checking that they are kind of I don't they were kind of using or been thinking about to put like like the sex toys, like sex dolls and everything, but with an AI.
I think they've been working on that for a little while. I remember like
Mm-hmm.
that popped up. I want to say like 10 years ago when they had the doll that could talk or whatever it was. It was on the news like a long time ago, but
Yeah. But if they have rights, what if so basically if they have rights, what if at some point that AI calls the police because their husband or wife um threats them or tries to kill them.
or tries to make them do something that they don't want to do.
Yeah, like say, yeah, 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 yeah.
Right? Like it's a whole deeper layer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
I'm sorry,
But
I just turned your podcast into a conspiracy podcast, but
no, 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 not at all. I mean, come on. Come on, not at all. I mean, this was a very interesting, amazing topic. I loved it because it actually got me thinking to a lot of stuff that probably got me think that is probably got me thinking for the rest of the day and probably for the rest of the week and so on so on. Because I haven't. I mean, of course, yeah, there were some things that I was thinking about that we some topics that we touch, but at the same time, some things that didn't came into my mind just happens now, and it's as I was saying. I mean, it's terrifying. So as I was saying before, I mean, we're not trying to panic to cause panic or anything like that. Don't. I mean, this is not the way we do things. It's just to make people to just think about it. As I said before, just sit back, grab a glass of wine, beer, whiskey, whatever you
It's the
drink,
local circus.
and just think about it. Just give it
Yes.
a quick second, and that's it. So wow.
Although, whoever decides to make this movie off of our podcast, the ideas that we threw, please cast me.
Yeah. 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 Even my dog is is uh is causing a racket right now. Yeah,
I think
okay.
my cat's. Oh, he's passed right out.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know why he's doing that. So we're gonna have to wrap this up. So right, so Nikki, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I'm speechless. For the first time on the 2 years that I've been doing this podcast, for the first time, I don't know what else to say. I'm speechless. Um Definitely we touch a lot of topics. Definitely there's a lot of things that we need to think about, and and definitely it's gonna make a lot of people to think about later on once they see this or listen to this. And I want to thank you for basically blowing my mind.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much. So next time I'm thinking about using AI, I'm gonna be you know.
No, please don't be like that. Don't freak out about it too much. It's just, yeah,
No, yeah. I mean, I know. This is. I mean, we are not experts in the matter
no.
or anything like that. We're just just two dudes just talking about some stuff here and there, and that's it. Which I love it. But yeah, in the meantime, keep being this incredible, amazing, of a badass person you always are. Keep rocking and keep blowing our minds because you're definitely doing it in a fantastic, epic way. And also, I want to thank those who check on this episode. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think in the comments. We touch a lot of topics, so put all in the comments. Let us know what you think, so we can answer those questions. Also, make sure to go follow Nikki right now. I mean, this episode is about to be over, so go follow her. Leave her a question too if you're interested. Why not? And again, Nikki, thank you. Keep killing it, and I'll see you in the next one.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right.